Using a 19mm socket, we'll go ahead and remove the lug nuts. Once these are all off, we'll take the wheel off. Using our 14mm socket, we want to go ahead and remove this slide bolt and this one here. You can use a screwdriver, gently pry the caliper out. I'm going to go ahead and use a caliper hanger bracket or hook. Let's hang that off the control arm there. Next, we'll go ahead and remove the brake pads from the slider. Using a 21mm socket, we want to go ahead and remove this big bolt here and this one down below. When you remove this last bolt, the caliper bracket will be separated from the knuckle and the brake rotor will be loose. So you want to go ahead and hold everything in place. Remove that bolt, grab the bracket, and grab the rotor. Now you have slider pins in here for the brake caliper to move back and forth in. You want to go ahead and inspect these here so you can grab the slide pin, work it out, and pop this out. Do this for both sides. Now you can see there are two different pins. One is longer than the other. We have different colors. Make sure that they go in the same position. Want to go ahead and clean inside here. You want to make sure there's no other debris, rust, anything like that building up inside. So sometimes you can use a small bristle brush to get inside there. Once you have both of these cleaned out, you want to go ahead and clean the slide pins. Do a visual inspection for any rust, any marks that might cause some sort of dragging resistance on it. This looks really clean. So we're just going to use a light coating of grease on here. Going to reinstall and pop that boot back on. Repeat for the other side. Go ahead and use a flat blade screwdriver. I'm going to pop out the slide clips here. You want to inspect inside here. Check for any rust or debris buildup. You can use a bristle brush, clean out the inside. Spray them down, clean those up pretty good. Now that we have the bracket clean and we have our sliders ready to go, we're going to put a little bit of grease right on the back side there. Just going to rub that around. Then we're going to go ahead and install our new sliders here. And with those installed, we're now going to go ahead and repeat for the other side. Now what you want to do is go ahead and clean the hub face here. You're going to spray this down and wipe it down. The reason why you want to do this here is when we put the brake rotor on, you want to make sure that there is no debris, any clumps of rust that is going to prevent that from sitting flush on here. If it doesn't sit flush and you go to use the brakes, you might get a pedal pulsation from the brake pedal. We're going to apply a little bit of anti-seize compound around the flange itself. And go ahead and get your rotor put on. Next, we're going to take the caliper bracket and slide this over. I'm going to start by putting one of the caliper bracket bolts in the back side. Get that lined up and get that bolt started a few threads. I'm going to go ahead and repeat for the bottom bolt. I'm going to go ahead and install your brake pads. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take the brake caliper. We're going to take an old pad. What we want to do is we want to get this piston pushed into the caliper itself. Go ahead and use a C-clamp. I'm going to put it on the back of the old pad. Apply a little bit of pressure to this here. I'm going to slowly turn that in until that piston is completely down inside. Now with that flush, go ahead and remove the clamp. Remove the old pad, and we'll go ahead and line this up. Make sure that your tabs are lined up. Go ahead and slide the caliper back into position. Grab your caliper bolts and want to get those threaded in. I want to go ahead and torque down the caliper to knuckle bolts. Those are going to get torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Using a 21mm swivel socket here. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and torque the upper slide pin bolts to 11 foot-pounds. And I'll repeat for the bottom. Now let's go ahead and get the wheel put back on. Always want to get all the lug nuts started by hand, never by power tools. This will prevent you from cross-threading. And once these are on, we can then use a power tool to snug those down.